Welcome to another episode of Nerds from the Hood, brought to you by Carmencita No Se Que. In the last episode, someone asked the question, why do you carry so much masculine energy? And my job in this episode is to try to answer that question as openly and as honestly as I can, at least as it pertains to my own personal experience or experiences and things that I've lived through and why I carry so much masculine energy. But I think in order to do that, first we have to jump into what is masculine energy. What is masculine energy? Well, a quick Google search will say that masculine energy is associated with assertiveness and logic and ambition and physical strength and a lot of other characteristics. And typically this used to be something that was associated specifically to men. That's why it's called masculine energy. But now if you search it, it says that it's a general attribute that is attached to masculine energy, whether it be male or female. So it is worth noting that for a very, very, very long time, all of these qualities were still thought to be things that were carried by men. And to see women carry these types of feelings or actions, or to see women behave in roles that were assertive or that had some type of power, it was a lot for males to digest, because typically, that's why it's called masculine energy, it was attributed to mostly men. So like real world examples of how people don't take well to women holding masculine energy in terms of
why women in the workplace show masculine energy,
or what is thought to be masculine energy. So why women in the workplace or in other spaces show this type of energy? Because they have a job to do, to carry out, to get people to do what it is that they need to do in order to get the job done. But a lot of men and women, because it's not just men, you'd be surprised how many women actually don't like to see other women standing in this kind of energy either, because it sort of diminishes them, or they feel it kind of dims their light, which is absolutely not true. But in order to get things done, you have to take charge kind of can-do attitude, which again is typically something that is connected to males and to men. And women are usually thought to be submissive as up until recently, but it's true. And we have to acknowledge the fact that it's hard for people still to see women in roles where they have to be assertive, and just the idea that reason or ambition or assertiveness is something that can only be attached to men, I think is ridiculous. So I think that it shouldn't even be called masculine energy. But I do think that there is a type of thing that we think is associated with masculine energy, especially in the hood, which is being tough. Like, you got to be able to like put them in a chokehold and protect your family to whatever extreme, right? And even in that, seeing women who are strong, who are healthy, who can actually hold their own and don't need a superhero, I think people don't like that about me either. How do I balance masculine energy with feminine energy? Is hard, because I'm full of masculine energy, and for a lot of reasons. See, that's the catch. There's so many reasons why people carry or can carry or do carry or should carry masculine energy. And I think that I've had so many different reasons as to why I've had to carry masculine energy. One of them being dad issues and having fractured relationships with my biological father and my stepfather. Another one being having relationship issues with men, and just being able to have a healthy relationship, with a man. And another is from just, you know, the abuse that I took from men, that I had to deal with, and there was no running away from that. So I think all of those things compiled together, and then the life experiences that I've had having to raise boys, starting with my nephews and down to my son and my younger nephews, having to raise boys and help raise boys kind of pushes you into that, especially when you're like the only parent role there. And teaching boys how to pee and clean up, that's when you're like, for me, I was still learning how to take care of myself. How do I teach somebody else to do something? And I'm just getting to know my body, right? And now I have to go teach this kid who's a completely different sex than I am, right? He's a boy, how to take care of his biological, you know, his body and his health. And it was a lot. And I think all of that had me standing in masculine energy for a long time, and now in this part of my life I'm finally in a place where I can sort of put that down and breathe a little bit. I think sometimes, because other times I'm like, maybe this isn't the time. But for the most part, I'm really trying hard and I'm working hard, and I think I've come a long way in being softer and being more feminine. And not that I don't like being feminine or being a woman, but just to be able to stand in that energy freely is really liberating. Word. I do feel like people try to push the negative part of masculine energy out of me. I feel like people try to purposely push my buttons and get me riled up and get me angry. I feel like people try to get me to come full force because they want to be able to say, see, she crazy. I told you she was crazy. And I think it drives people insane the more that they poke at me. And this is the honest to God truth. I feel like the more that people poke at me and try to get me to act in violence or aggression, and the more that I don't, I feel like they get more annoyed and they try to poke harder. I don't know how true that is, but I do feel that way. Controlling my masculine energy is important. It's very important because, like anything else, even controlling your soft energy, your feminine energy is important. I don't think it's a matter of control. I think it's a matter of knowing when to use it and when not to use it, right? What moment is in this moment, what does this moment need me to show up as? And the truth is that for a lot of the moments in my life, or the greater part of my life, the energy that I needed to show up with was masculine energy. Was don't mess with me. Was these are my kids, I wish a mofo would, right? Like, you're not gonna hurt me anymore. If you try to, I'm gonna hurt you back. I mean, it was endless. And now that I can finally, I feel like, take off almost my armor and be soft, right? It's hard. I'm finding a hard time doing that. I don't know that I feel safe enough in my relationships right now. But I'm trying to find the space to feel safe enough to. You know, I feel like I feel it. I just don't think I'm actually all the way in. How would I like to live the rest of my life? In the countryside would be nice. I'm really enjoying this church thing. Continuing my relationship with God. Having my kids follow. I just want a peaceful life. I think I want to do what I always wanted to do, which is more volunteering, and I finally have the time now that the kids are big. So I think this is a great time for me to get started with that. I don't want to hide anymore. I want to go outside. I'm just really scared to go outside. And then eventually find true love and live happily ever after. The end. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Nerds from the Hood, hosted by Carmencita No Sé Qué. I can't wait to see you guys on the next one.